Hey, good morning, guys. So I'm actually outside, as you can tell today. We're going to do something a little bit different with today's video, and I'm going to take you around and show you what we need to get done for this next upcoming season. Okay, so one of the things that I want to talk about and why we're not doing a kitchen video this week is, for those of you that don't know, is I have lupus. So I tested positive for the marker for lupus, and I have a bunch of the symptoms. And this particular week, I have had major fatigue. I honestly have not felt like doing anything this last week. Just getting out of bed was really, really hard. So I've listened to that. Normally, I really try to push through, and I try to just continue to get work done. And then I get really frustrated and really exhausted. So I kind of took this week off, cleaning up inside, straightening up inside. We've had a couple of really beautiful days. Today is one of those. So I decided to go ahead and take you around and show you what it's kind of like in the coming out of winter phase, and what I think I really want to try to accomplish this year. Now, that being said, with lupus comes some things that I'm going to have to really pay attention to this year, and I'm hoping to get things done. But as you know, or you may not know, but Kim is no longer here. She's gone back to the city. She's absolutely loving being back in the city, and so she's not here. But Kira is coming back, probably at the end of this month, and she'll be helping me out all summer long. So I'm really excited for her to be here. We work really well together, and I think we're gonna hopefully accomplish a lot. So a couple of the things, let's just get into this, and I'm gonna walk you around, and I'm gonna show you the ugly winter version of my property. I don't like it. I don't want it to look like this next year. So we got to get some of these things done so things don't end up being like they are this year or next year. So one of my favorite places is to sit right here and look out at the lake, and the view is absolutely gorgeous. And I want to be able to do this, but fix this seating area. Maybe do a permanent burn pit, have some better seating. We really do have resting spots everywhere. I have chairs everywhere because I need to sit and rest quite often. But this is something that I want to make into a permanent spot where friends can come and we can hang out and we can look at this amazing view. So last season I set up my, you guys are crooked. Let's tighten it up here. Last year I set up my firewood here, and obviously I still have some. But what ended up happening is the snow pushed the tarp down into it, and then it froze and all of those things, and I couldn't access it. So something different has to happen with the firewood, and I definitely want it closer to the shipping container, because walking all the way out here to access it and carry it in was really difficult. It was doable. I did it, but I'd like to not do that. So I definitely want to put something pretty close to the back door that I can access the firewood. So this is going to be something that Kira and I will be working on pretty early, and I want to do maybe a carport that can cover it, that can keep it all contained inside and not getting wet, because like this stuff out here that I finally just got the tarp off of got wet, and then I couldn't use it, so it didn't help me at all this season. Yep, that's my trash. It's terrible. I had some real issues with my truck this season, so I wasn't able to just throw trash in the back of my truck and take it to the dump. So this is definitely something that needs to be fixed. This is not only unattractive, but it did bring in predators. Actually, stray dogs came in, or the neighbor's dogs came in and tore it up, and I had to clean up trash, which was not fun, and I do not enjoy doing. So we need to figure out a situation for the trash. Okay, this is the barn. This is a temporary barn, but now it's ended up being here for 3 years. And it has worked. It's kept them out of the weather. They go in there, they use it all the time, but again, it's a complete mess. And it is time to pull this down and actually replace it with something permanent this year. And it's raining. One of the biggest issues that I've had with the goats, and I'm going to show you, is the fencing. So we're going to have to absolutely replace fencing. But I have decided that I want to keep this barn here, not this particular one, but pull this one down and go ahead and build a full one that has individual stalls. It'll just be a lean-to, probably have the slant roof so that everything, all the snow can fall off down the back. And they can individually have their own stalls so that I can feed the goats versus the sheep, because the goats have a tendency to bully the sheep. So that's definitely something that I'm going to need to work on this year, this season, because I don't think this is going to last another season. Something has to be done to it because it's not going to last. And again, it's just a real big eyesore, and it's, you know, seasonal depression disorder does not need help with this to make you feel like crap. The biggest animal issue that we've had this season, I'm going to show you a couple of fences. Hi, duckies. Here's another section. If you can see over there where Sissy the goat has literally been climbing over and smashing down fences. Now this is something that goats do. But normally in the summertime I run electric fence. She doesn't touch it, it's not a problem. But in the wintertime, we don't have a lot of sun. And since I do solar up here, the solar fencing just did not work and give her enough of a shock. And then they started getting all caught up in the wire. So I had to pull all that down. So this fence needs to be taller so that she cannot do that. And we need to figure out some really good deterrent to keep her from doing that. So if you have suggestions, put them down in the comments. Send me people's links or their channel name and the name of the video that maybe they've dealt with this, because that's definitely something that I need to work on, because she has been a menace all season long. My rabbits dug out and got out of their pen. So basically there's mamas with babies in there. They definitely have had some babies, but they're all running. Hi, Richard. They're all just kind of running around loose. So I need to definitely fix that. I really like the colony style rabbit pens. I like them being able to be in there. They go underneath and they stay warm, and they go underneath in the summertime and they stay cool. So I really want to continue to do the colony. I do want to pull out babies and have grow out pens so that I can control that a little bit more, and I can process the meat rabbits when it's time to process them a little bit easier than trying to catch them in here. So I want to work on this more and just make this better. I do think I'd like to do some kind of cover or something so that you know, they'd have a little bit more shade in the summertime and a little bit more cover in the wintertime. But I'm also thinking that possibly in the winter I might pull them out and put them in cages and put them inside the barn. So I'm kind of debating that whole thing. Even though I don't like them being in the barn, in cages, I would be able to collect the manure and for the garden for the next season. So there's that. So that's another thing that's gotta definitely be done. What are you stinkers doing? They're ready for snacks. I'm just going to hover over the fence. I'm not actually going to take you in there. I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but my greenhouse, so it's all of this, blew over really early in the season. And then we got a bunch of snow and it froze, and a bunch of rain and it froze. So the actual tarp part of this stuck to the ground. So I had had an accident and had been injured, and it wasn't really something that I could do by myself, and Kim and I did not get it done before she left. So that is something that we need to fix as soon as we're supposed to be warmer this rest of this week. So we're wanting to pull this out so that I can get my starts going And I want to do something different completely with all of the fencing. So I just want one straight run of fence line all the way down from one end, way up there on the hill, all the way down to that back fence, so that I can kind of do a double barrier to keep them out of the gardening area. This whole section is for the garden. The goats are still going to have a runway from the side that'll come all the way up, and I'll actually do some round bales of hay that I can feed them out in that section. So probably all of my little carports that I, my Costco, older Costco carports that I have, will be set up there. I'll get new tarps for the top, and then that'll keep a nice covered area for them to access hay, free feed hay, because I want to get away from the grain. I did too much grain this winter because we run out of hay, and I couldn't get any more up here, so they actually did quite a bit more grain than normal. So that little hot mess of a building was our quail cage. I really liked having them be able to run around. They really liked it. I want to make that bigger. This season, I'm already hatching out some Cornex quail eggs, and I have some jumbo quail that will be on the way. So I'm going to keep them in that area. I just want that particular section bigger, and I've been looking at Beaver, and they have some really cool cages that can go in there that are a nice size that I think will actually work. So stay tuned for that. Behind there, you see the pond, and that's where the ducks go. And again, the fencing, the goat has stomped all the fencing down, so I've got to go in and replace that, straighten it all up, try to fix it, and work on that. But I'm going to keep the ducks up there because I can take the pond water and water the rest of the garden. So that's really what I want to continue doing, because then I'm kind of using the water, you know, I bring the water in, they get fresh water, and then the water that's already been fertilized is coming down to actually water the rest of the garden. So that I really want to get fine-tuned, because I'm planning a really big garden this year. I want to grow a lot of things. One of the issues with lupus is you want to heal your gut. And so I really need, I'm doing right now mostly a carnivore diet, and it needs to be grass-fed meat, and with no chemicals, no whatever, no shots, no nothing, to help heal my gut. And I also want to add some vegetables and see which affect me and which don't. I have started drinking mushroom coffee, and I'm no longer drinking actual coffee, which is fine for me because I'm a tea drinker myself anyway. So I will be growing a bunch of teas and such to make my own tea and all of that kind of stuff also, because I want it really organic. In order to get those things, it's really, really expensive. So that's kind of the goal this year, is to just grow as much as I can to help me handle this disease and hopefully cure it, because I've read that you can if you heal your gut and you keep putting in good foods. So that's going to be a topic that I'm going to talk a lot more about on my Farm to Table channel, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit more in detail of what I'm doing on that. So if you are not subscribed to 'Cause We Can Farms, jump over there and subscribe, and I'll start posting a little bit more, actually quite a bit more this season. I did not last year. So if you are new to my channel, I'd hope that you subscribe. I really do appreciate those of you that support me and watch my videos and share them and comment and all of those things. It's made this whole journey so much more fun. And, you know, I'm going to be spending a lot more time by myself up here, because there won't be someone living permanently. I'll have friends come and go kind of thing who want to come help out. So I do really, truly appreciate you guys stepping in and being my virtual friends that I hang out with all winter long. What a hot mess this is. So this thing with the green tarp right there was firewood that we got brought back. But what I want to discuss right now is the RV connected to the shipping container. This is all going to move. It's all going to be moved out. I'm either going to sell the RV, or I'm going to build a tiny house on it, pull everything off and build a tiny house on it. I'll probably put it up for sale, and if it sells, great. If it doesn't, okay. I've got another plan for it in that instance. But this is all going to come down and open up, so this whole area will actually end up being my front yard. All right, this is not an area that I want to show anybody, but I'm going to show you guys. It is now actually kind of hailing, so I'm going to be really quick about it. So this is my back door area. What has ended up happening is I wanted to save the boxes for the garden area, and so I just started piling them up, and they just got a lot of them, and that became a huge mess. So that needs to be fixed for next season, because I do want to, I'm actually bouncing back and forth. I was watching somebody's channel and they were talking about, you don't want to put these ones with the plastic on them or the coated or the printing, and like this one. Well, anyway, you want boxes with nothing on them. So they stopped doing this and started just purchasing boxes to put down in the garden. So I may just do that and burn all these when everything dries out. Okay, let's discuss the barn. I know everybody's wondering when we're going to get this done. I've got a lot of milling left to do, and I'm pretty sure what I've decided to do is Kira and I are going to get on to milling. We're going to finish milling everything that we need for the trusses and for the floor joists for that first floor. And that way, when I rent some equipment to spend the weekend, a 4-day weekend, putting everything up with the rented equipment. I'm not going to have equipment on hand unless I try and purchase a tractor. And I definitely am going to have to use a crane to lift the trusses up and do that all in one day. So that's the plan with that. So we're going to, as we're finishing up these other things around the farm, we're gonna be milling and getting the stacks of wood ready to complete this barn. The actual goal is to get this dried in this season so that everything that's sitting outside that shouldn't be sitting outside can be brought over and put under cover all winter long, and that I can also get my things out of storage and get stored up top, and then I can continue milling. If we have another mild winter, I'll be able to mill all next winter, because I'll just be milling one by material to do the siding, and I'll be able to do that on my own without really any other help, and mill it and get it put up. So we got a lot finished last year, didn't have a lot of equipment to use. This particular tractor I borrowed from my son, and we did as much as we could with that. I definitely would say spend a year getting everything milled and then put your building up. I kind of regret doing it the way that I did it, but this was a learning experience. This is my very first big building that I've done, and it just kind of is what it is. Now for the tiny house. I am going to continue to work on finishing the building. I really want to be completely finished this year so that this next winter I'm just really comfortable. And so I will continue to be putting out videos every Wednesday morning. We'll be live in the comments to chit chat, and you can ask me questions of finishing this tiny house build. I've got a bit more to do on the kitchen. I'll then be moving over to the bathroom and finishing that out, and then pulling the wires through the rest of the building and finishing up, the last bits. I would really like to also get the siding done on the outside of the building. And then we need to definitely address some issues that I have with roofing over the actual shipping container, because there has been some leaking. So that has to be addressed this summer. And I'm really tossing it up, the ideas with people, and trying to figuring out the best way to do that. But that will be done this summer. So stick around, continue to watch our build. I'm definitely going to be doing as much as I can. It may be at a slower pace, which, I mean, can I get much slower than what I've been doing? That does worry me, but I've got a lot to get done in the next few years. And, you know, I really hope that you guys will come along with me. It definitely helps me with the comments that you leave, the suggestions that you leave, and ideas that you guys have that maybe I haven't thought of before. I really do enjoy hearing those. And I learn from all of that. So I'm really also very excited about being able to add videos over on the 'Cause We Can Farm to Table channel that will talk way more about this autoimmune deficiency diagnosis that I have gotten, what it means for my life here on a homestead. It's definitely going to change things. And putting out the information that I'm researching and finding out and doing to help anybody else that is also has lupus or another autoimmune deficiency. I'm just now reading everything that I possibly can. The hardest thing about all of this is I have always been very healthy. I've never had a health problem, really. So this was a really big shock for me, and I know that it's going to make some changes. I have noticed changes in me this last year. I really don't feel like I got a lot done last year, and I was really kicking myself for that. And then come to find out, I have this, and it's a real thing, and fatigue and exhaustion and loss of strength is a real part of it. And so I have a small window to get this area set up, so this homestead set up so that I'm at a maintenance level and can continue to live this lifestyle that I absolutely love. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for coming along on this journey. Please leave me a comment if you have any advice for anything, building, lupus, anything. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday in the comments.